Welcome, friends. I have one question to ask. Are you a slave? I woke up this morning before the sun rose, like I usually do. When my alarm clock struck 5:30, it rang and woke me. I rolled out of bed and went to my closet to dress for my morning workout. Typically, at such an ungodly hour, my mind is blank. I'm working on autopilot until I get on the treadmill, and even then I feel a little foggy before my coffee. But this morning, something was different. When I woke, immediately my mind leapt to the button. It was as if I had not slept at all. It was as if I had lain down and closed my eyes and then stood again, unrested. That damned button. I had stayed up late the night before to watch it tick down, but now it was morning, 6 hours later, and I could not resist. I turned on my computer and went to see. Yes, it was still running. Had there been any exotic clicks? No, it had not been updated yet. The number was in the low 400,000s. Ah, look, here is another Reddit Right Now post with a gif of someone pushing a button. And here is the post about how we shouldn't push, and on and on. I sat there and watched the button and the adjacent timer tick down, watching those numbers flash by. Began to think, what is it that we are doing? Really, what is it? This button has millions transfixed. Millions of people with jobs and children and responsibilities. I should be at the gym right now. But instead I'm sitting here in the pre-morning dark watching numbers flash down as the button strobe-like flickers with each frantic press. Are you a slave? I am a slave. I'm a slave to the gym. I'm a slave to my responsibilities at work. I'm a slave to my human necessities of food and water and waste disposal. I'm a slave to my phone. I'm a slave to my wife. I am a slave to society's expectations. I am a slave in 100 other ways. Why do we choose to enslave ourselves? Perhaps because we see our life as what it could be if we were not. No job, no food, no family, no society. Our slavery is a trade-off, and most often we can rationalize it. But here I am sitting in front of this button, thinking about the things I could be doing if I were not so captivated by it. And I am failing very badly to rationalize why I should make myself a slave to this button. What is the button? A few lines of code? An oversimplification, I think, but accurate. Really, it is a collective idea based on desire. In the case of the 60-seconders, it's an individual desire to be better. In the case of the Greys, an individual desire to be different. In the case of the Knights, an individual desire to prolong the countdown. In the case of the Assassins, an individual desire to ruin someone else's aspirations. There are many others as well. Some press, some do not. But they are all the same. They sit here, watching the button in the hopes that their desires will eventually come to fruition. In doing so, they chain themselves to it. The button is not a benevolent overlord. The button is not a source of good. It is a slave master that drags you along in fetters that you, by your own free will, clicked around your ankles. Free yourself from the button's influence. Remember that it is not only a button. What is a button without someone to press it? Nothing. The power you give it comes not from the button. The button does not think, it does not feel, it does not know, it does not do. The button merely exists and is pressed. You know this, and yet you feel drawn to it. Drawn to your desires, whatever they are. That feeling is not the button, it is you. Whatever importance the button has was like a golden crown placed upon it by your own hands. What to do? Break free of your chains. You granted this thing the crown, you can just as easily remove it. Dethrone this meaningless button. Refuse your slavery. We are the free.